Yeah, my role is one that carries many hats. So at IDC, I'm a senior research director covering financial applications. And that's everything from your small business accounting apps through to your big financial ERP suites, and then into some key point solution areas. We track accounts payable, accounts receivable, corporate tax, treasury, and travel and expense. And with all those sort of constituencies, I wear three hats. One of which is I talk with end users, help them build shortlists, help them sort of navigate the landscape, the competitive landscape that is. And then another is I work with vendors, help them sharpen their marketing messages, positioning, help them figure out their roadmaps and those sorts of things. And then that third constituency that I sort of deal with on a regular basis is the investment community. So private equity, investment banking, those kinds of folks, they all want different things from me. So when I put on the hats, I have to be sort of mindful of who I'm talking to and the audience I'm talking with. But I think together, those three perspectives allow me to really kind of dig into the topic in a very meaningful way. One of the things that we've seen, and there's actually many shifts going on at the same time. One of the shifts we've seen definitely is the CFO being asked to become, as I call it, the chief fortune teller. They have to be able to look out into the future with much more regularity, so more frequency, and then, of course, more accuracy, right? And that's a tough job. So that's one shift that we're seeing. Another is that we're tracking the office of the CFO and the CFO in particular as becoming these growth warriors, right? The idea isn't anymore that the CFO is this gatekeeper. The idea now is that the CFO is an enabler for growth, and that's a mindset shift that we've been seeing. And then I'd say the last one that we've been seeing, and I think they all sort of work together. The last one that we're seeing is that because the CFO is now being asked to cope with a flood of data coming from not just financial sources anymore, but also from ESG data, supply chain data, all of these new data sources, all sort of coming together in the office of the CFO is requiring that the CFO now become, in some ways, the chief data officer. I think typically the CFO is being asked to, change their focus from rear-facing to forward-looking. And I think it's because, typically your CFO is being asked to, or is asking their constituencies to, hey, take the last 3 years, last 5 years, run an analysis, give me the trends so that we can apply those going forward. But honestly, as we look at, ever since maybe COVID, there's been so many black swan events, right? The Suez Canal, volcanoes, and now we've got some trade issues, right? Global conflict. All of these things have sort of rendered sort of rear-facing trends not that useful anymore. So now the CFO has to be able to look forward with confidence. In order to do that, they need a new set of tools, a new mindset, and even new skills. The main pillars of the high-performance financial office now are modern infrastructure, the strategic automation, and then also the cross-functional collaboration. And when you talk about the modern infrastructure, this is now more than ever important. It's not just cloud anymore. It's not just utilizing APIs, utilizing microservices or cloud native principles anymore. That stuff now is table stakes. You got to be able to take advantage of the advanced technologies. So you need to, of course, have that modernized infrastructure, but you actually need to have that and apply that toward generative AI, agentic AI, even some more advanced sort of neural networks and those sorts of things. So yeah, it is definitely that main principle. You have to start with that modernization of infrastructure. Then you can move to the automation side. When you look at automation, you have to be able to sort of alleviate some of the pain, some of the day-to-day grunt work of what it takes to run the office of the CFO. So think about things like invoice ingestion. Think about things like supplier management. These are places where CFOs typically throw a lot of bodies at that problem, but now, because of the capabilities of modern automation tools, you can now automate some of that stuff, and then that opens the door for your employees to kind of be able to move more towards strategic value-added activities. So even at the employee level, because they can automate some of the low-level tasking, the number crunching, the data entry kind of stuff, then they can even pick their head up and start looking forward as well. So we're seeing even those that run the budgets for expense management or the AP department, they're able to step away from some of the data-heavy grunt work and move toward more entrepreneurial sort of thinking, move more toward creative thinking. This is a benefit for the entire company. And then that last piece, of course, is the collaboration piece. This is a very interesting piece that for a long time, the Office of the CFO kind of sat like a bit of an island. It was a place where the financial team sort of worked on their own. They did things like tax, they did things like invoicing, and but there was a bit of an isolation, a bit of a silo to it. But now, because CFOs have to move even faster than ever before, I think we're definitely seeing a desire and urge from CFOs to pull in data from all over the business. So going back to what I was saying earlier about the chief data officer, but now they have to work in concert, and they have to collaborate with supply chain, the inventory guys, the hardware guys, the IT teams, of course, sales and marketing and legal. All of this information has to come together now so that the CFO and then, of course, the CEO and the board can make decisions at speed and at scale. The financial team is now going to have to look at their business quite differently. I do think that ultimately, you will start to see, and we've already started to see, much more of an entrepreneurial bend to the Office of the CFO. The concept is pretty simple. Hey, if we can get our hands around some of our spending, we can get our hands around some of the ways that money's moving into and out of the organization, then maybe we can start taking advantage of rewards or rebates in terms of virtual cards and those sorts of things. We can start to even turn some of these traditional cost centers like AP into profit centers, right? They can start to contribute to the top line. But in order to do that, you have to have the infrastructure. The tools are the only pathway toward that. So, yeah, we've definitely seen a mindset shift opening the door through the use of modern tools and modern techniques and technologies, opening the door for more entrepreneurial thinking, opening the door for another mind shift here that we've been seeing is that the CFO now more than ever is, looking at operating the office of the CFO, and they're looking at the employee and the employee experience. All right. So the idea there is, hey, it's so hard to find good people. It's even hard to keep good people. Let's make their lives a little bit easier so that they want to stay. So they don't have that huge turnover rate. One of the issues that we've been tracking is that not only have the enrollment of accounting degrees in the U.S. and abroad has gone down over the last 5 years. There are fewer people taking the accounting exam, right? The CPA exam here in the U.S. And then there are a whole lot of people aging out of their roles as, sort of AP staff or accounting staff. So what you end up with is this sort of gap where there aren't new employees filling it, and the ones that are there, they're leaving. So it's more important than ever to really kind of focus on the employee experience. And again, the way you do that is through your tools, right? Don't ask them to dig into spreadsheets when they don't have to. Automate some of the more mind-numbing tasks, invoice ingestion, data entry, those kinds of things. Those aren't fulfilling, and they're probably just not very good use of what humans do best. Automate that. Bring AI to fill that gap, and then allow the employee to, move to more fulfilling work, or just good old fashioned be able to go home at 5 o'clock, see their kids. Too many CFOs are working with too many CFOs have their staffs working at one job, maybe two jobs, maybe 2.5 jobs, more than what they were originally sort of scoped for the reasons that we just talked about. And the wear and tear, the mental energy that it just sort of drains from their staff is palpable. So ultimately, we're definitely seeing that shift as well, moving from a number focus to a people focus. And that's exciting stuff. But again, you only get there through the use of modern technology, AI, machine learning, agentics, so that you can automate some of the lower level stuff and either allow your employees to go home, get some fulfillment, or maybe new training, explore new opportunities to grow their skill set, or allow them to move into more strategic roles and strategic tasking. In either case, it's a win-win for the CFO to now start to look at the people as what they are, which are assets. Today, I keep using the term unprecedented, but I need to stop because I'm running out of words, places to use it. I use it so often because every day seems to be unprecedented, but that's the world now that the CFO has to maneuver in. So the now and the future are so much more important. And again, the only way to get to the now and to the future sort of view is through the right tooling. You need the use of data management tools like APIs. You need the nimbleness of cloud native architecture. And then, of course, you need to be able to leverage agentic and generative AI along with traditional, artificial intelligence in order to really kind of, again, get the right information to the right person at the right time. I'll say this, when I think about, today's world, I think the real gold standard or the real sort of core goal for any CFO now is to be able to shorten the distance between all of the information that they have access to and the insights that they need to make good decisions. They have to be able to shorten that distance. You can't afford now to be days or weeks away from the insight that you need to make a decision. You have to now, you even need to be hours, maybe even minutes away from that kind of information. So it just requires a whole new set of tools, new skill set. But I do think that that's one of the issues. I think that as we look forward, even if you look into the current state of things, they just don't bear much resemblance to 5 years ago. The world keeps changing, sometimes overnight. And in a world like that, looking in the past is sort of fruitless. I think you have to be able to focus on predictive analytics. You have to be able to utilize AI and machine learning to make those forecasts, to build in all of those rich assumptions. And then guess what? You're going to have to do it again tomorrow because it's going to change. But being able to be nimble with the tools and sort of project that forward, I do think that's the future that the CFO needs to craft.